I love and so I want to. It's
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Master Ching Hai was born in a wealthy Vietnamese family. When she was a little girl, she always followed her parents, who truly believed in God and Jesus Christ, to church on Sundays. During the weekdays, she spent most of her after-school hours with her grandmother, who was a true faithful Buddhist, and studied all the Buddha Sutras. Because of this special family background, Master Ching Hai has accepted both Catholic and Buddhist teachings since her childhood. Concerning Master's biography, please refer to the free booklet at the entrance. Soon after Master acquired her own enlightenment, knowing the desires and sufferings of other living beings, she started to share her enlightenment with others and teach people in Taiwan how to obtain it. She takes care of all living beings, including animals and plants, with great love, patience, and understanding. She teaches anyone who wants to discover the inborn inner superpower, the truth, the enlightenment, without bias. What she teaches us is the method how to contact God, the universal superpower, by inner light and sound, directly. All worldly things, including rocks, plants, and living beings, are composed of non-stop moving elements and communicate with each other through vibrations, varying kinds of vibrations. Because we cannot find the right frequency, we cannot contact God, our Godfather. Just like if we cannot find the right channel, we cannot watch the desired TV program. The immediate benefit of studying Master's teachings is the understanding of Bible, Saints' teachings, and the Buddha Sutra. I finally understood why Jesus Christ said, "Love your enemies," because there is no such thing as enemies. There are only misunderstanding and different desires. After all, the most difficult enemy is myself. Some of her students have smoked and drink for more than 10 years before follow her teachings. They quit both smoke and drink after initiation without any mental struggling. To do or not to do? The answer is absolute. No smoke and no drink. There are also many side effects, not bad ones, but all good ones, of practice enlightenment every day. I enjoy it more and more every morning and every second. I believe you will enjoy it also. You probably have many questions, so please get a piece of paper and write down any kind of questions concerning your beliefs. Master will reserve some time to answer your doubts. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Master 青海。
Thank you， 谢谢，讲得蛮好。She spoke so well. I wonder if I have any more ideas left. She's stolen everything. Now I will pray to God. Please be merciful and send something. Good evening, first of all. And I'm happy to see you again today. That out of your busy schedule, you still spend some time for me. Some of the brothers from yesterday have come back. It means yesterday's lecture was not so boring. So today come we'll have some hope. It is like this. The truth we all know. We just forgot. So sometimes someone has to remind us and make us remember again what is the purpose of our life and what for do we have to find the truth. What for must we practice? Why must we believe in God or Buddha, whomever we think is the highest power of the universe? When the Buddha was still alive, he often spoke to his disciples about the importance of self-discipline and practicing self-realization. Now the disciplines we all know. Other scriptures mention these things, such as non-violence, loving thy neighbor, loving thy enemies, etc. And leading a very pure and virtuous life. Now, the problem is that when we are confronted with the reality and the pressure of the society, it is difficult for us to love thy enemy or to love thy neighbor. But actually, we are not to be blamed for. It is because we are so helpless and powerless against the mass influence of society and the pressure of nowadays living. Is my English okay? The lady looks so so desperate. I wonder if my English is out of order. You are just paying attention, right? Not because my English is so lousy. It's not Oxford English. It's a kind of a mixture between English, Vietnamese, and French, and Italiano, and German, and Taiwanese. Now, why is it that we could not keep the discipline laid down by the ancient masters? It is not because we do not want to, or that we don't make any effort to do so, but it is because we do not have enough power. We are tired, weary of existence. Sometimes we must work hard and we must survive in this ever fast growing standard of civilization. And then we also have to face all kinds of even more civilized temptations. Before, the temptations were not so civilized. And now it is more civilized society and more civilized temptations. So actually, we should make a more civilized approach to guard ourselves if we want to regain our self-respect, self-wisdom, and self-right. Because sometimes it looks like we are lost in the whirlpool of existence, of the pressure, and we seem to lose ourselves. It is not that we lose our body or our desires. It's just that we lose self-control. And self-control is so important to us that we should pay attention. So in the Bible, it says, what shall it benefit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his own self? And now we all know about this phrase, and we probably repeat it many times. What benefits a man if he so blah blah blah. But then we don't know what it means by losing ourselves. We are thinking, why? I haven't lost anything. I'm just gaining every day. Maybe got promotion from the boss, or the business are running well, and getting more children each year. This is our promotion. But that is not the gaining. It is a kind of more lovely burden only. Some burdens are unbearable, some burdens are very lovely. So we love it. The more position we gain, the more children and the more money, the more possessions, the more burden. And we lose ourselves more in taking care of these material things. And what is losing ourselves? The more we are steeped in this material surrounding, the less we know ourselves. That is what's called losing ourselves. What should we know about ourselves? That we are the greatest beings in the universe. Everyone tells us from the Buddhist Bible, they say that human life is the most precious. And the Catholics also say the same. And then in the Mohammedan scriptures, Muslim scriptures, it is said that we are guests on earth only. So it means our home is not here. It means we are greater than just a human shell of the body. 无上师是你，因了解；无上师是你，因了解。我们是无上师。Everyone tells us from the Buddhist Bible, they say that human life is the most precious, and the Catholics also say the same. And then in the Mohammedan scriptures, Muslim scriptures, it is said that we are guests on earth only. So it means our home is not here. It means we are greater than just a human shell of the body. Now then, everyone told us that we are so great, but where is our greatness? What is so great about a human existence? At most, we know our greatness only through our mortal understanding. It is like what kind of position we have in our company, and that measures our greatness. Or in society, how successful we are, and with that, people would measure our greatness. That is the most. From our human point of view, we can judge how great a person is. But then, if we think carefully, these things are not permanent. Even, the presidency is not forever for anyone to hold. And the presidency for a nation is the highest position, the most prestige. But then you can't hold it forever. And so many millionaires, so many world famous persons have gone out of sight, and we do not know where they have gone. We can know where they've gone if we practice the method laid down by ancient and present masters. They all have the same and one method. whoever say that they preach the truth, really, then they must teach the same method. That is, the method that helps one to realize how great one is and what the relation is between us and our Father God, or the so-called Buddha nature, or the Tao. The different names from different religions indicate the same power as the Almighty, the ever-present, everlasting, the all love and mercy. This is what we call God, or the Most High, the Almighty, the Tao, the Buddha nature, or the Rulai, Tathagata. Why is that many people call him by different names? It is because of different traditions and different ways of expressing. It is also because of the language barrier, and people do not often translate the real meaning into the local language. For example, everybody knows Buddha, yeah, and think he is the only one Buddha. No, Buddha is only a title for an enlightened saint. You may even call him Christ. It is like Christ is a title for an enlightened being in the Hebrew language. Then we don't translate it into English, and then we keep calling him Christ or Buddha, and then we think they are only two famous saints, and they're the only ones in the world ever to come and ever will be. And so here we confuse ourselves. Now, in modern times, we have another word, guru. Yes, so now everybody becomes a guru, even I myself. I was so surprised to see on television, Guru Jinghai comes. I said, Jesus, now I became guru. It is good for the Americans because they are now acquainted with the name guru. If the television or newspaper would say Jinghai Fa Shi, that means the Chinese title for guru, then people would shake their heads and say, what is that? Fa Shi. Huh? Or if the Sanskrit person says Jinghai Buddha or whatever, then people will think, no, there's only one Buddha in India and he died 2,000 years ago. And people would fight, thinking I am boasting about myself to have become a Buddha. Actually, to be a Buddha is nothing so terribly out of reach. It is just like you learn for many years and you became a doctor. And so you can learn many years in many ways and become a Buddha. And so do not make a big deal out of a Buddha and then make a small deal out of ourselves. That is unfair and very self-detrimental. Yeah, self-disrespecting. Yes, because the Buddha also say we all can become Buddha and we all have Buddha nature. That means we and he are equal. But the only difference is he has discovered his Buddha nature. That means his inner treasure, and we haven't. Or some of you might already have. Yesterday I also disclosed to you how to find your Buddha nature, and some of you have found some of it. Yes. So that is the way to become a Buddha. It's so simple and so scientific, nothing mysterious and nothing pushy that cannot be reached by the average person. But why is that we have heard so little about the method of how to become a Buddha? The first reason is that we are so cheated into believing that the only Buddha is Sakyamuni, is Gautama, Siddhartha the prince. We are made to believe this way. The same, we are made to believe that Jesus was the only Christ on earth, and there was no one before, no one after him. But Jesus himself has declared that before him there were other prophets, and he in fact was the reincarnation of those ancient ones. In the research about Jesus, we have read about this. And the Buddha also said the same. Before him there were countless, numerous Buddhas, as many as the Ganges sand. No? Did he say that? Yeah. Are you not Buddhist? No? No. Okay, never mind about the Buddhas. We're talking about our own Buddha. I'm just referring to this for your reference, for your information. You no need to believe in Buddhism or any ism. You should believe in your own innate heaven, because the Bible says heaven is within us. I have found it, and so can you. As it's easier to verify the heaven within us than to blow your nose. To blow my nose, I have to first find a piece of paper. And if there is no paper, it is difficult. But to find the heaven within is a matter of seconds and minutes. And I have just told you the reason why we have not heard so much about the Buddha's teaching or Jesus Christ, and that the majority of people could not believe that they can become Christ, that they can become Buddha. It is because we are made to believe. We are so ignorant, we are so stupid, we are so small, we are so helpless, we are nothing, we are sinful, we are so and such and such and so. We are nothing at all, absolute. And then from generation to generation, we are brainwashed. It was forced on us, this kind of false belief. But we forgot the Bible says all beings are God's creatures. And then God made man in his own image. That means we are God. We are the same. And Jesus said, I and my Father are one. When he said, I and my Father are one, then we and Father also are one. If we can realize this, then all our misery will disappear. That's a simple thing. But to realize these things is not a matter of talking and believing that I say so, but you must take some self-training. It's a kind of self-hypnotism. You understand that? Some people can hypnotize themselves into doing something, or somebody can hypnotize someone into doing something out of his own control. But this kind of hypnotism is not a very high order. Because when you're out of the trance, you're back again to your ordinary misery and trouble and vexation and ignorance, and even worse, you lose some of your self-control under the hypnotist's influence. And I should not think that is a very advisable thing to do. But the self-hypnotism of a highest order is that you use your own judgment and your own wisdom to acquaint yourself with the higher realms of existence, and you become more and more familiar with higher kind of living, higher kind of thinking, and higher kind of power, that you become greater each day. And whatever you want to accomplish, then your own inner power will accomplish it for you. At that time, we know God. And we can say that God has accomplished everything for us through our body. Because at that time, we and God are one. It's like Jesus said to us, I and my Father are one. Then we have no more human loneliness and the human struggle, effort to achieve something by our small power and limited wisdom. Now scientists use only a limited part of their brain, and they can accomplish so much. If we use the whole of our really working brain system, of course we can accomplish more, and this is nothing difficult to believe. It is the question of how to use it, and there is a way to use it. Because for the ancient master, it was very difficult to move about due to transportation and communication problems. Therefore, in ancient times, most people were ignorant of their teachings and their liberating way. And now we have a lot of good communication and transportation advantage. Therefore, we can convey the message easier. But then I have found out that humans are mostly the same, also very skeptical and very self-doubting. They don't doubt the master, they doubt themselves. Whenever you doubt a master or his words, know that you doubt yourselves. Doubting that you could ever become a Buddha. Doubting you are so small and helpless. How can you become as great as Christ? Doubting that Christ is the only one who is commissioned by God on earth. Doubting that God is not so merciful, that each period, each era would send another son or daughter to come out to fetch you home. This is a great doubt of a human mind. Not that they doubt the teacher or the teaching or the method, they doubt themselves. Because they are so let down, so put down, so looked down upon for hundreds, billions of years of incarnation after reincarnation, and they are brainwashed into believing that they are nothing. That they are only sinful beings and they could never become anything. And this is not the teaching of Jesus. Jesus said, whatever I can do today, you can do also. No? Didn't he say so? Yes. Yes, he did? Yeah. What does that mean? He didn't say, I am the only one that can do all these miracles and all saving the preaching and liberating work. He said, you will do the same. You can do the same. You might even do better. I think he said something like, you might even do better. Yes? Oh, that's great. I praise him. I praise him. I love him. I worship Jesus. That is what he was teaching. And we forgot all about that. We believe in what the church and the priest tell us. We are sinful. Without Jesus, we will go to hell. If Jesus comes back again, he will cry his soul out, because his teaching has been distorted and tortured into such sense, into such a shape. And he did cry. We believe in what the church and the priests tell us. We are sinful. Without Jesus, we will go to hell. If Jesus comes back again, he will cry his soul out, because his teaching has been distorted and tortured into such a sense, into such a shape. And he did cry. He does cry. He's crying. Some of my disciples meditate and contact Jesus inside. He's now not on the earth plane. He works in a higher dimension, that's all. Jesus never died. His body only disappeared on earth, but his soul body is everlasting, is always existing. He's only working in another dimension with higher intelligent people, easier to teach than ours. I'm sorry, again, too straightforward is no good. But that's what he told me. Anyhow, I'm sorry. You don't need to believe that. Yeah, it's difficult to tell the truth sometimes. Yeah, you must forgive my straightforward way. Anyhow, some of my disciples meditate, and because they were born Catholic, Catholic believers, so naturally they will contact Jesus or Maria. And lately, 2 weeks ago, when I was in Taiwan still, she came to me and told me Jesus was crying. And I said, why is that? She said, because he thinks his children believing in his name are going down to the lower scale of existence. Only believing in his name, but not knowing the way to reach him. Therefore, they get no liberation. And then he cries, because of his children's ignorance and because of the harm the false belief has done to them. And of course, when I heard this, I also wanted to cry. And my tears did not flow out, it only flowed inside. And that's even more painful. Because I don't know what else can I do to fulfill his left behind mission for him, that he would stop crying. You see, once you have left this physical world, even if you were a very high master, you cannot help the physical beings anymore, except through inner communication, which is very difficult to reach by most human beings, except by some exceptional persons who have a kind of telepathy, inborn nature, or by their own previous life practicing. They are left with some psychic power or the inner communication ability. You understand what I mean? Or we might call this the sixth sense or the seventh sense, the higher dimension understanding. Then you may even see Jesus without practicing any prior meditation. Some of them are very receptive. And when they are in the most sincere moment and pray to him, then they might contact him now and again. Or they might contact the Buddha or the saints of the past. This happens. It doesn't mean very often though. But if we practice our method, it's very sure we can see these things. And we can learn from them a great deal of things. That's how we learn more about the truth. Not by word of mouth, not by any preaching or doctrines, but by self-intuition, self-learning. When we go into higher dimensions, we will see different saintly beings of a higher order of intelligence. They might have gone to the higher worlds to teach others, or they might be prepared to teach us in the near future. And they have greater intelligence and more scientific wisdom than us. They live in higher worlds and a higher so-called civilization. What their civilization is, we cannot imagine with our own limited human brain. We can only perceive when we go within by meditation, by deep contemplating. And this way we can offer you through the Kuan Yin method. This is called the method of immediate enlightenment. Now you may have heard a lot about enlightenment methods, and I do agree that there are quite a few ways to enlightenment. But the highest one is the only road, and you go a different way, then you must go through there, and then you go up. And this way is through the inner light and the inner vibration. The vibration, yesterday I told you, is what the Bible says is the Word. That in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, but the Word was God. With God, but was God. So this is what in the Tao Te Ching they say, Tao bu ke Tao, Ming bu ke Ming. The name you cannot name. This is the word in the Bible. And the sharp in the Hindu scriptures. And the Kuan Yin, or what you call the sound hearing method of the Buddhist canons. In the Buddhist scriptures, the Buddha said that the best and the only way to reach Buddhahood is through contemplating the inner sound, or the sound stream. But in the Bible, it doesn't say how you contemplate. It only states that you must go within and listen to the inner sound. 梵文文自心. You go within and contemplate your own nature. So now we are confused as to what is meant by our own nature. Our own nature, if we refer to the Bible, is very easy to understand. When we refer both back and forth, we can understand each other very quickly. What is our own nature? That means we are born from it. Is that not so? The self-nature means we are born from that. That means our own nature. It's like the nature of this table is wood. We can say so. It's understandable for everyone. We can say it's made of wood, but its nature is wood. It's like that. Now, our self-nature is what? If the Buddha tells us to go within and listen to the self-nature or the sound stream, that means our self-nature is a kind of sounding, it's kind of vibration. And now in the Bible it also says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Then this sound, this word is our self-nature. Because everything was made by this word, and there's nothing made that is not made by this. So we know from the Bible that everything was made by the vibration, by this word or sound or inner vibration. And Buddha say the same. Listen to your own self-nature by turning your hearing inward. Now, to turn your hearing inward and hear your self-nature, there must be some sounds to hear. Otherwise, he would tell you, turn your toe inward and feel your own nature, no? Or turn your hand inside and scratch your own nature. No, he said, turn your hearing. Turn your hearing inward and hear your self-nature. And the Bible also does not say you are made of anything. It says everything was made by this word. Word is something sounding, something vibrating. Because of the language barrier, sometimes we use it so differently. The old ancient word means vibration. That's it. Just like in the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu said, the name which cannot be named, but you can hear it without ears. You can see it without eyes. Is this the same thing all over again? All the Bible scriptures mention the same, this vibration, the origin of all things. So we know that the inborn nature, our self-nature or Buddha nature, is the word. It's the sound, it's the vibration. So the only remaining question is how to contact this inborn nature or God, because the word was God. Everything was made by it, and there's nothing made that's not made by it. So now, because also in the Bible it is said, God made man in his own image. So we have some clue now. Is it not so? Everything was made by the Word, and the Word was God. And then God made man in his own image. So there's no doubt 2 and 2 is 4. God is that Word. And the Word is our origin. And we and the Word are the same. We and God are the same. We and God are the same because God made man in his own image. And then in the other side, the Word. Everything came from this Word. The Word was God. So, can you understand now? You see now? Is it clear enough or not? Sleeping? Then we sleep together. If I speak not so lousy, then respond. Because we are studying together, not that I am preaching to you. Understand that? We are all the same nature. Everything was made by God, or this word, or this self-nature. So do not make me a God and sit there like the statues and waiting for me to preach to you some high-reaching sermon or things like that. It's very scary. We should become equal. in order to understand each other and cooperate in order to communicate. Yeah. I do not like to sit like a guru and such a big deal, make a fuss out of everything. I sincerely want to discuss with you our questions, our problems, which I had before and which I know you now carry in your heart. And if I have discovered something new, I will tell you. And if it's incorrect, you may tell me. If you know something better, later you can also tell me. Yeah, this is a better atmosphere like that. So now we know the Bible and the Buddhist Sutra spoke of the same thing. So the only remaining question is how to find this self-nature or this word or this God. So to know God is to know this word. We come back to the conclusion because the word was God and everything was made by it. And then God made man in his own image. So we come from this word or this God. Actually, the word, if the word was God, now we do some intellectual wrestling just for the sake of fun. Now, if the Bible says the word was God or the word is with God and then the word was God, then why didn't he just simply say, in the beginning was the word? Or the word was God, or in the beginning was God. Isn't that more simple? Why does he have to say, in the beginning was the word, and then the word was with God, and then come back and then the word was God? Why didn't he say the word was God, or in the beginning was the word? Forget about God, or if there is God, then forget about the word. What is the complication for? Who knows? Please raise your hand. Do you know?
Before the vibration God displayed.
Yeah, that's good. You enlightened. 1 point for you. An A for you. In America, A is good. Yeah? Okay. Oh, thank God. Otherwise, I make trouble. Yeah. Therefore, we learn from Buddhism as that they also say in the beginning there was nothing, non-existence. And then also we learn it from the Tao Te Ching, being Taoism. It also says in the beginning there was nothing, only Tao. And then the Ming, the name came. A name, that is a vibration. The word. In the West we say the word, and maybe in Chinese at that time they say the name. So the difference between the language makes us confused and make other religions separate and fight each other. This is a pity. We should not do so. And in the beginning, there was only God, or we call the love ocean, and there's nothing at all. No vibration, no light, no darkness, no thinking, no moving. And then the movement arose. That is the word, the vibration. And then everything became created. So actually, the word isn't God, but the word is God. Without God, there is no word, no sound. And without sound, we don't know God. That is what it is. Probably that's what it means. Just like the ocean, if there are no waves, it seems not like an ocean, but a big pool, a peaceful lake. Yeah, because the lake is peaceful and there are no waves. So the oceans have waves. We all know that. And the waves arise from the ocean, but the ocean actually has no waves. Is it clear? And also the same thing with all things in the ocean. The fish people, the squid people, yeah, and all the living beings and the non-living beings in the ocean also arise from the ocean. Is it not so? The temperature, the movement in the earth, and the combination of the oceans, the atmosphere, temperature and movement make all things become existent in the ocean, but they are ocean-born. So similarly, the vibration arises in God's blissful ocean of mercy and love. And then all things combined with the force of nature, there are two forces then that arise. Any movement will kind of create a force or two forces. One is the pro and one is contra. So we call in Chinese yin and yang. And we call it in Western terminology negativity and positivity. And so this negativity and positivity, when they are mixed together or somehow integrated with each other, then they create the third thing. And that's how all things came into existence. I don't know if I am going too far. It's just like electricity. There are two poles. One is negative, one is positive. And when the plus and the minus are put together, then it has power. It's what we call electric power. And then it starts all movements, or light and everything else we need. Actually, electricity is neither positive nor negative. But without positive, without negative, we have no electricity. And so, the same with all things. God is neither good nor bad. He is only an ocean of indifference and love. He knows no hatred. He knows no dirty and no bad and no sins. Therefore, we call him the ocean of love and mercy. He discriminates not between the bad and the good, the beauty and the ugly. So we call him the ocean of love. But the ocean of love may be difficult for us to understand. Therefore, this vibration arose, and then the negative and the positive. And so we have time to compare. And then we begin to understand what is good, what is bad, what is wisdom, what is ignorance then. But it is fun, no? It's fun. If there are no opposite forces, then probably we always be in ignorance. We cannot appreciate God's love and mercy. So it also has some purpose. There is another theory in Buddhism. People believe that there is no God. So the Catholic people call the Buddhists atheists. Is that the right word for it? Meaning non-believers, pagans. No, the Buddhists deny that they are atheists. They say, of course they don't believe in God, but they believe in Buddha. So both of them are fighting desperately, intellectually. I think the Buddha meant, when he said there is no God, he didn't mean to believe in a non-God. He only meant that there is no personal God, or one who sits there and says, you are bad, you are good, and punishes this one and gives reward to that one. But what he meant is the ocean of love and mercy, which has no name. And the name which you cannot name is a real name. So actually all the countries, in different countries, people, enlightened people are speaking in a different fashion. And so the unenlightened people are easy to get into confusion. Besides, there is a big mechanism of priestcraft. Unenlightened priests and priesthood, priestcraft, which scare people into all kinds of things in order to catch the devotees for their own selfish motive or their own desire and thirst for power and fame, and that's the only reason. If they were all enlightened, then they could respect all kinds of religious scriptures and understand how to go inside and get themselves in contact with God and then know all things without having to refer to the language. That is what Lao Tzu called knowing without knowledge. And then he also say, the wise are similar to the ignorant. Anybody understand this? Why is that you become so wise and then you look like an ignorant? You know? Anyone knows? I give you $5. $10? No? Priceless answers. Nobody knows. Yes. Oh, behind you is first. So maybe. Yeah, that's you. That's you. I'm sorry, he's first. Yeah.
Because they shouldn't wise that really wise. Wise does not say anything to show he's wise because so people forget it.
Yeah, I got it. I got your idea. He means that the wise one knows that the stupid one would never agree with him anyhow. Is it not so? Yeah, because he's doing things and seeing things so differently. So he does expect the stupid ones to understand him. Therefore, whatever the stupid ones say, the wise man says, yeah, maybe like that. Okay, you carry on. Is it not so? Yeah, this is similar like that. And do you have any different ideas?
I thought it could mean that the more you learn, the more you study, the less you really realize from that. It can appear very good now because you don't make comments.
Oh.
Not even that.
Yeah, that's it. That is also true. He says the more one learns, the more one realizes how ignorant one is. And so one stops chatting and then stop making comments and making discussion. Yeah, one becomes more humble, that's right. So it looks like one learns more and becomes more stupid, more ignorant, more humble. But actually, I think he means we're more humble. That is the more correct word. Yes. Actually, the more one learns, the more humble one becomes. Because one realizes that everyone has God's nature, has the Buddha's wisdom, and one can learn from each and every one of our neighbors. And one can respect and love each and every one of the human beings encountered on the street. So one becomes actually more humble. Maybe Lao Tzu means one becomes more humble. That's what it means. Yeah, I do agree with you both. So I think later you'll get $10 from me. Oh, you have to do it for free. You cannot always wait for the prize. But anyhow, I have said it, so you get it. Yeah, this is good. So what is it that makes one so humble? It is the vast knowledge of the universe that one could never understand enough that makes one humble. For example, when we are in primary school, we learn how to add numbers, like 4 and 4 makes 8. And 3 and 3 makes 6. And later we learn more complicated things. Like 1 tomato is $3. So if I buy 3 tomatoes, how much? And then later somebody else buy again for me 1 tomato less. So I have only 2. So now how much do I have to pay? And how much that person? And all this kind of complication. And if we have solved this mystery, and we feel very proud. We come home and tell our parents how great we are at school. That we can make 1 tomato less and 2 tomatoes more without any problem. And we can make numbers working and running. And we feel so proud. And that is our small accomplishments. And we feel very proud. And later when we go to high school and college, this petty fight will wash itself away. Because we know this is so little we know. Is that not so? Yes, similar things. Those who practice very little, they boast a lot. They like to let people know they have superpower and demonstrate it in public. or write books about it and charge people money for it. Of course, that is the ultimate. Okay? I cannot forget that. But those who practice at a very high level, they cannot use this thing anymore. They feel ashamed if they ever have to use it, if they are even forced to use it. Remember the story of Moses? When he came back to his kingdom before, he was banished for a while, and he went to the desert. And then he did not die, and then he had seen God, and he had seen the flame, and he heard the thunder. Remember? As this is the inner vibration and the inner light. So now we know if we practice this method. Before I didn't know what it means. Why is God's voice like thunder? And then why is it he appears like a big flame? It sounds so terrible, so scary. But no, the fire isn't the fire, and the thunder isn't the thunder. The thunder is so soothing that we will want to listen to it again and again. It's not the thunderous and boisterous outside thunder, but it's the inner one that heals all kinds of sickness and ignorance and arrogance and all kind of misery. But I may inform you, the thunder inside even is not the highest sound that you should listen to. It's only one of those high beginners. There are others which are more enchanting, more wisdom offering, and I think, I don't know how to explain. It's everything in it. Now I just forgotten what is that, where I was before. I'm getting old. What was it? Moses, yeah. Now, when Moses came back to the king, he was showing off his miracles. He made the stick become a snake. Oh, and then afterward he repented. He said, I'm sorry. Forgive me, God, for misusing your power. And that is the attitude he should have in the beginning anyway. And remember the story of Jesus when he went to the marriage party, and he had to make wine out of water. Wasn't he so willing and so proud and so immediately doing this? No, he wasn't. He even slightly so-called scolded his mother. Why have you disclosed this thing to people? Is it not so? Yeah, he blamed his mother for being so kind of, how you say,
Advertising?
yeah, actually talk too much. Yeah, that's right. Actually, in this modern language, we may say like that, talk too much. But actually, because he respected his mother, and his mother already prepared everything. So he told the people, fill the jugs with water. He was forced into this situation, and he was so embarrassed. Yeah, that is the attitude of the wise. When they have to do these unavoidable things in unavoidable situations, they feel very ashamed, not proud. That is the way to discern between a real and a false master. The false master always advertise their small, petty, miraculous power. The real master never. If he has to do it, he does it in secret. Only the disciples know, and only when necessary, in order to help the disciples out of some awkward situation, or to heal their sickness, or to help them mentally, or to help them in their spiritual progress. And the disciples know so well how great their master is, and they know very well. They alone know. No wonder when Jesus or Buddha were alive, people were worshipping them like God, because they knew how great the masters were. Only they knew. And so the outside people looked at them, worshipping them, their masters, like God, worshipping them more than the average priests and monks or other so-called prophets. Then they became jealous, they became angry. So arose all kinds of attacks and harm to them. If only these real masters demonstrated to the people at large how great they are and how many kinds of miraculous power they possess, then you could imagine how many people will run to them. They don't have to do anything more, do not have to spend so much money, just go on TV and do some tricks. Yeah? And that would be enough. Or heal some sick people in front of thousands. And that will be the end of their mission. Everybody would come to their feet and no need to do any more advertisement and no need to work so very hard and run from one place to another. But they are not to do that. They cannot. They are not in a position to do so, and they are so humble to do so. They cannot even imagine doing such a thing. That is the problem. But only their disciples know how great they are, and any kind of power the Master does possess. There is nothing in this universe that doesn't belong to a real Master, like Jesus or Buddha, or anyone that has attained their level. The whole universe is their home. Every living thing, every grass belongs to them and obeys them at will. But they do not exercise this authority on anything because they have the quality of God. And God is free will, freedom, live and let live, love and love only. No pressure, no pushing, no controlling, no hinting, no tricking, no using any power to convert people, but using wisdom, logic only, in order to appeal to their own wisdom so that they themselves awaken. They awaken themselves, not by any power or hypnotism. The Master can hypnotize, can do all kinds of power, all kinds of miracles, but they don't, because they came from God, and God is all free. God is not interfering with people's business. God doesn't mess around, mess in others' affairs. He lets you alone to decide which path you follow, which way of life you choose, and which realm you want to enter. If you want to go to heaven, it's open. If you want to go to hell, it's also free of charge. But the road to heaven is difficult to follow because narrow is the way that leads to life. Broad is the way that leads to destruction, and so many will walk therein. Why is it the road to God is so narrow? Some even say it's like a razor's edge, no? So sharp and so difficult to walk on. It is because the road and the way to it is contradictory to our way of thinking and to the worldly desires and temptations. We have to swim in the ocean, but also have to protect our clothes from getting wet. That's how hard it is. We have to live in this world with all temptations and struggles, and yet we have to keep discipline and purity like the lotus born from the mud, but so pure and clean and so fragrant. And that's how we have to become saints in hell. In Buddhism, there is a saint. Legend has it that he is forever in hell, because he vowed to save the sentient beings in hell. Now, we imagine no one can live in hell because hell is so hot, full of fire and all kinds of punishments. How can a saint, a bodhisattva, it means a Buddha of the second degree, can live in hell and forever live there? It is possible by the force of compassion and the power of love. You become immutable to any harm and to any traps. An ordinary person, if we go to hell, we immediately get burned, and we cannot bear the heat of it. But a saint, or anyone who practices the saintly path, can go there and visit and have no harm. It is because of the protection power from the Master. It means God's protection. Now we all know that we all have God inside because God is within you. We are told like that in the Bible. Then why couldn't we find Him? Because we're too busy. We have no time to make contact with Him. And whenever we have time, then we go to church. And then we talk a lot. We sing a lot. Also busy. Busy looking at the words in the Bible, otherwise we will sing it wrong. Or do some rituals wrong, making the priest angry. So we are always busy with the outside performance and have no room to have an intimate talk with God. Therefore we cannot find Him. That is the only secret.
Ai có biết lòng ai khe ấp chẳng nên lời, hãy nhìn trong đôi mắt bao sóng tình lên khơi, tình vui hàng lý dập, tình nồng đôi cánh môi, người ơi người ơi người ơi.
So we are always busy with the outside performance and have no room to have an intimate talk with God. Therefore we cannot find Him. That is the only secret. And now, if you want to find Him, then I actually have nothing much to teach you except how to be quiet. And at which time to catch God is the best. Which is the hour. We can make a rendezvous with Him every day. And then at that exact time, He will appear. And then when we are so acquainted with Him, He appears anywhere, anytime, any hour. And we are so acquainted with Him that even others will see God in us also, or near us, standing by. That is so good. And then this so-called God power will flow out like an ocean, like a stream, and benefit anyone that comes nearby. Like a sandalwood tree, it makes all trees around it become fragrant, like sandalwood. Like a perfume shop, anyone who comes in smells the nice fragrance, free of charge. And sometimes you go to a perfume shop, the shopkeeper will give you a free spray, and you come out, you also feel so nice. Yeah, it is the same with a self-realized soul. He emits a kind of godly fragrance and a super mundane virtue that everyone would love to be near, and everyone will feel naturally comfortable with. Also the same with the Master, so-called Master, or Buddha, or Christ. They do not actually save any beings. They do not do any particular gestures or have any intention to catch a soul and bring it back home. No, they themselves are the magnets. They just attract. They cannot help it. Even if they want to stop it, it's too late. Even if they want to stop giving our blessing and happiness and joy to the surrounding people, they cannot do it anymore. It's too late. It's just like a fountain. It has to keep running and running. It's just like the ocean. It has to keep being full like that. However much rain comes down, the ocean will not become more full. However much the sun shines on it, the ocean will not become less full. It is forever like that. So all of us can become the same like Buddha and Jesus. Now the Buddha say, saving sentient beings, but doesn't save sentient beings. No one is being saved by the Buddha. Although everyone, at that time, his disciples say they are saved by him. But he said that he didn't save anyone. That is the meaning of a natural power, which flows spontaneously and naturally from a highly self-realized soul, from a master soul, to benefit others, without him having to control doing anything on purpose. That is what it means by saving sentient beings, but not saving sentient beings. Because if they still have a sense of saving anyone, that means they are not completely liberated from the ego, from the self-centered sense of existence. They are not yet completely liberated from the frame of the human self. So they cannot do this universal work. They cannot contain the limitless, endless, boundless, infinite power of God if they still have a sense of self. Because the sense of self limits everything. And then you cannot contain the limitless if you are limited. And that is the logic of it. So in order to become a co-worker with God, or a master, or the master soul, you must become limitless like that. And in order to become limitless, we have to practice self-losing. So in the Bible it is said, one who sacrifices the self will gain everything. Something like that. I mean, maybe my translation is not correct. One who loses the self will gain everything. One who takes care of the self will lose everything. Is it not so similar? Yes, that is what it means. Lose the self means losing the ego, the sense of limited being, becoming one with the universe. But it is easier said than done. To be so, to be such a limitless and boundless being, one must practice the ever-present power of God. And one must reserve some time daily to contact with this word, with God's word, and it was God's word, or with the name you cannot name, or with the vibration or the sound stream in the Buddhist terminology. They all spoke of the same thing. If we want to reach the same height as the ancient masters, we have to follow the same path as theirs. That is only simple. So simple is that. It is like everyone who wants to become a doctor, then they have to follow the medical university way of teaching and follow the previous doctors that can teach you, and you become a doctor. So if you want to become like Christ or Buddha, then we have to practice the same method like Christ or Buddha. We have to contact the inner flame, the inner thunderous voice of God. And this way, I can offer you gladly and freely, free of all kinds of bondage, all kinds of conditions, all kinds of financial, physical, mental commitment. Only your devotion is needed. Your devotion to your own practice. Every day you must practice. By your own time, schedule and arrangement, and by your own free will. And that is all that is needed. Now, I think the time is nearly over. I reserve some time for you to ask questions. Anything you want to ask concerning my lecture, concerning how to meditate, concerning the initiation, any doubt, anything, any skeptical ideas, you may ask without reserve. You don't need to even write your name if you fear others knowing. We don't read your name out, just your ideas. Will you please write down on a piece of paper? Or you don't want to write? Because if you ask from over there, I cannot hear clearly.
What is stealing?
What is what?
What is stealing? Steal something from somebody.
Stealing.
That's right.
Oh, yes. You don't know? Whatever that is not belonging to us, and we take it without permission or prior asking, that is stealing. Be it a grass or a needle. And even talking too much is stealing. Stealing people's time and energy. You know this kind of stealing very well. Some friend phone you and they talk for hours and you just cannot stop it. And you get exhausted, and out of politeness and compassion, you just listen. Yes. And you don't know what they're talking about because it's so boring. That is also stealing, yes. We should devote time to know God instead of talking about useless topics.
What is the Guanyin method, the inner sound?
Yes, it is like this. When you are yourself open to receive God's blessing, then it will come. So this method is actually God's blessing, it's not mine. Only when your minds are open and completely surrender and want to receive, then you can get this method. The method is without words. And when we transmit the method, we don't talk. And then you will get the inner vibration. You will hear it, but without these ears. And you will see the light of God or the heavens abodes without the eyes. And that is what the method offers, not what the method is. Because the method, I cannot speak it by language. I can only transmit it to you in complete silence. That's why we call the transmission from heart to heart or from mind to mind. Yeah.
How does the inner sound bring you to liberation?
Because the inner sound is God. If you know the sound, means you know God. You get nearer to Him, and you coming near God, it means you get away from demons. That's a simple thing. To be near God is to be liberated. Or to be near Buddha, to become a Buddha, it means to be a liberated soul, to be free from bondage, to be free from birth and death. That means liberation. But there is another more concrete way. When you get transmission, you immediately transcend death. And that is what's called liberation. Yesterday, I gave transmission to about 30-something persons. And some of them have experienced the death experience. That's what is called born again. Except thou be born again, thou shalt not enter the kingdom of God. So what is born again? Or I die daily. Like one of the Catholic saints, I die daily. What is it we're dying daily? We are living, and he said he's dying. He said he's dying 100 times daily. That means dying while living. You die, but you don't die. You just transcend the limit of death, and then you live forever. Once the fear of death is transcended, it's understood by our own very weak and scared soul, we are forever eternal. We are no more. We are immortal. That's what it means. Yesterday he said when he meditated, just a few seconds or minutes, and he immediately saw the light and the tunnels, the dark tunnels, and inside there's light, and he flowed through it like sailing on a boat. That's what he said. Now what is that? You have seen on TV and you have read books about the experiences of the near-death person, haven't you? Yes, they have seen this great tunnel, and then they have to flow through it, and then they see the great being of light, and they explain to them that they are dead. But yet their time has not come, and then they have to go back to the earth again. And so some of these persons go home. She says she cried off and on for 2 weeks because she has to leave that wonderful world and come back to this terrible one. Is that not so? Yes, that is the limit between life and death. And some of these persons experience that while they are near death because they have been some virtuous ones. Therefore, when they die, they come immediately to the region of light. But this region of light is not the highest one, may I tell you. There are some others higher. But these are only kind of the frontier between our world and the other worlds. Just the beginning of the other worlds. The other worlds are higher, limitless spheres of life. And the higher you go, the more speechless you become. And there's nothing to say anymore, nothing to talk about, except someone like Master Ching Hai. She likes to convey that to others. And then she couldn't even say much. But yesterday, this man, or 2 or 3 men, experienced that because they have transcended the limit of life and death. They died and they came back again. They have the same experience as that, recorded by the Dr. So-and-so with many hundreds of death or death and back again to life, patience experiences. So this is what we call born again, or transcending life and death, or free from life and death. Once you know how to die while living, you will fear no more death, and you know how to do it at any time. And so when your earth time is over, you know it even in advance. Your master will come and tell you, hey, 3 more days, your time is up. Or in a week's time, we will go to another place, so please prepare. And if you owe people money, give it back quickly. Or if your wife is not yet remarried or something, you have to arrange it. Or your children, something, yeah? Insurance, life insurance, have to take care. It's that kind of things. A master will take care of you in every minute detail after the initiation. And this is his or her job. It's a lot of work, even paperwork, bureaucratic work. But because we live in this world with many complications, the master cannot avoid having to even take care of these, even though his job is not that. But without that, the devotees cannot be free. So we often hear of transcend life and death, be free of life and death, and we don't know what it means. It means exactly just that. At initiation, to transcend, and you know what life and death mean, and you have no more fear. Thank you so much.
Ta lặng yên kể bao chuyện nhạc, từng lời ca như mật rót vào tim, buồn lâng lâng theo cung bậc êm đềm, trong rung cảm ta ngỡ ngàng chiêm ưng.
Question?
What are the different inner sounds?
What are these sounds?
What are the different inner sounds?
Yeah, this I will tell you at the time of initiation. Okay?
After one has experienced nirvana and or enlightenment, it's difficult to attain mastery over one's energy body.
Master what?
Mastery, M-A-S-T-R-Y, mastery. Okay. It's difficult.
That's why yesterday I wanted to read, because to attain mastery. Is it difficult to attain mastery over one's energy body? No. Why? God bless you. Thank you. Yeah, I thank you too. God bless you. No, it isn't.
Okay.
It is easy to gain control over one's energy body because one has attained enlightenment. That's the purpose of it. If we couldn't control our psychic or energy or light body, then what's the use of enlightenment? That we are out of control, we're even worse off than before. So maybe this may happen if you have incompetent masters, or if you practice it yourselves from bookshelf, from bookshelf self-realization authors and things like that. It is a little bit dangerous, yes, sure. Therefore, some people who practice themselves or have incompetent masters, they became mentally deranged. Yeah, is this true? Yeah, I understand now. Yeah, possessed, yes. Sometimes, yes, sometimes possessed by the demons, sometimes by self-disturbance. Because they couldn't handle so much released psychic energies or a higher order of power. And they're unused to it. They're so amateur, so childish, they cannot know what to do with it. Therefore, they become out of order. Yeah. So it is better to practice with a competent master. That's the reason why we should have a master. Otherwise, there's no need. If the master doesn't need to transmit it personally, then he could even write books and sell them, become famous, #1 bestseller by Times or New York Times or whatever that is. Yeah, it's even more comfortable. Yeah, you sit at home and you write books and become bestsellers, and every time get income.
Does the dog have Buddha nature? Dog.
Oh, how boring, no? It is like this. In the Chan, so-called Zen or Chan word, people invented so many so-called methods. After the Buddha's Nirvana, everybody became master overnight. So, and then lacking real power, they just invented any kind of dog's nature. Like, does the dog person have nature? And then it became like a koan. You know that? Koan means a question you have to ask yourself and ask until your head broken or whatever, your brain explodes. And if you haven't found it, then you must die with shame. Before, there were even worse circumstances. In Japan, if a person doesn't know what moo is, then when the master asked and he couldn't answer it, then he has to commit suicide. And at that moment, he might get enlightened, so-called, but most of the time not. And so people die with grief and shame, don't know where it has gone to. We can check though, but it's not very high. Committing suicide for a person is no good. Go into a very dark region. Doesn't matter for what purpose. For a heroic act or whatever, because life is given by God. It's not for us to take away. It's for Him to decide when we live and how. So the person who commits suicide is in a very, very bad realm of his own dark thinking. Understand? He closes himself up in his own prison of dark thinking. Very dangerous. Until this power wear out, billions of years later, he can get liberated. But not a very normal liberation. It means he is liberated from that dark region only. But he may incarnate as other beings, maybe lower than human existence. God knows. Now, the question of does the dog person have Buddha nature arose in China after many thousands of years after the Buddha's Nirvana. Now people lacking the transmitting of the light, lacking the inner, lineage, what you call Fa Mai, the lineage of power. Then they just invent anything. So people came to ask them how to practice. And then they would cite any of the ancient masters' talk and tell them to investigate it, to ask themselves. And of course, when you concentrate on one idea or another, it may give rise to some power. You understand? The power of concentration is not to be underrated. But I already told in my book, it doesn't matter how big an intellect. He is still only an intellectual giant, and not a self-liberated, and not a wisdom saint. Intellect belongs to the realm of mind and matter, not soul and God. Because intellect is thinking, and thinking arises from what? From data, from learning, from other people's thinking and brainwashing ideas. Soul and God are nature, spontaneous, self-born, self-existing, self-supporting, self-pure. So anything that is influenced or can be influenced by society, by thinking, by philosophy, by language of any kind is intellect and intelligence, not wisdom. Therefore, if we use language to ask ourselves to be enlightened somehow, it is still in the intellectual realm and wrestling, some mind wrestling, and it's very tiring. So I do not teach this kind of mind wrestling method because I think we are tired enough of work every day and wrestling with our problems. And no need to go home and sit there cross-legged and rest again. The Buddha, however, never taught this method. I may remind you of this. The Buddha never sat there and asked himself, who am I? What am I? Who am I? What am I? Does the dog person have Buddha nature? Does the dog person have the Buddha nature? Does he really have the Buddha nature? Does he really? he would not do this kind of thing. How did the Buddha become enlightened? Do you know? He has seen the inner realm. He has subdued the inner demons. It means when he saw the inside demons, he subdued them. And when he saw the inside stars, it is recorded that the Buddha, seeing the stars, became enlightened. Now we think we see the stars every day. How come we're not enlightened? That is because he saw the inner stars, not the outer stars. So many of our disciples see the stars, so they also can be called enlightened. Now you may wonder yourself, okay, if you see the inner star, so what's the big deal about that? It's a big deal. Because it's not seeing the stars that counts, it's what it makes you become, what it makes you feel. The feeling, the wisdom, the way of life all changed after seeing the inner stars, or after seeing the inner worlds, or the inner realms, or the inner lights, or after hearing the inner sounds. It's not because we like to see the inner stars or hear the inner sounds, but because hearing them, seeing them, make us great, make us wise and saintly, and we become Buddha, become Christ. Therefore, we have to see them. Just like we eat bread and potatoes, and they, in turn, become blood and become our thinking, become our say, muscle power. Understand that? Yes, that's it. The inner stars and the sounds are our inner bread, the bread and water of life. So Jesus said, man doesn't live from bread alone. This is what he meant. Because the bread and water of life are inside of us.
Why is there so much pain in this world?
Pain.
Suffering.
Because we have no support. We have no enduring power behind us. This power we neglect. We only use our mind, our brain. We don't use God's limitless supply. Therefore, we cannot endure the pressure and the pain in this world, and we feel pain and suffering. If we have that great treasure, great support, this strength, we don't feel that much pain. The pain still exists, it's just that we can bear it. Just like when we were young, when we were a child, if we lifted about 5 pounds sack of rice, we feel it's very heavy, no? We couldn't even walk. But when we grow up, 20 years later, even 50 pounds means nothing. That's the meaning of God power. That's why we have to practice. That's why we have to practice the Guanyin method, to get in touch with this inner limitless supply. Then we don't feel so much pain, so much pressure, and we feel joy ever after. The pain still exists, mind you. I don't mean the pain disappears. But you can bear it. You feel nothing much of importance, that's all.
How do you deal with the fear of letting go of self? Become a selfless egoist.
Oh, I don't remember how I dealt with it. It just naturally goes. By getting in touch with God and merging yourself with God, you just naturally have no more self. Slowly, slowly, the self will go out. And that's it. I don't deal with it. To have to deal with it is a problematic thing because the self is very big. Therefore, you let God deal with it. After practicing this method, you become less and less self, and then you become greater and greater. The less you become, the greater you are. And this is the paradox of God, because it's not for us to understand.
How do you get rid of bad thinking?
Yeah, it's difficult. Also have to use this power, this inborn power. Have to practice this Guanyin method. Then you naturally become pure. It isn't for us to struggle anymore. Every day we use the light, we use the sound to purify us, to bath us. But also there is a kind of inspection, spiritual diary Every day you may check yourself to see how cleaner you become each day in speech, body and mind, to see how you progress.
How do you meditate?
Yeah. How? Of course, everybody already knows how to meditate. It is that only you meditate on the wrong thing. Some meditate on pretty girls. Some meditate on money. Some meditate on business. Every time you pay attention a lot to one thing, one-pointedly and wholeheartedly, that is meditation. And now I pay attention only to the inner power, to the compassion, to the love, to the merciful quality of God. And that is my meditation. But to do so, officially, we should just sit in a quiet corner and be by ourselves. And that is the process of meditation. But it's not by sitting quietly in a corner one gets something. No. You have to get in touch with that inner power first, and then that inner power will meditate. Actually, it is like that. So that is called self-awakening. You must awaken the real self inside and let him meditate, not you, the human brain and the mortal understanding. That power will meditate. He meditates, he awakens himself. He knows how to work now. At the moment you let him sleep and you do everything mechanically with the brain, the order of the brain. So even if you sit down, you think of 1,001 things and you cannot subdue your own passion. But when you self-awaken, the real inner self, the God power within you will control everything, will meditate, will come back to its own self. And that is the real meditation. You only know real meditation after you are awakened by transmission from a real master. Otherwise, it's only a waste of time, mind wrestling, body resting. Only rest your body, but the mind is troubling and fighting. And that is not real meditation.
Is there right? Is there wrong? Any difference?
No. There's no difference. You need to ask me this. If you want to go out and steal another's wife, is that right? If you ask that person's husband, he will say no. And that is not right according to our human society behavior and virtue. What's right, what's wrong, according to the law and according to the human standard, we must observe without any excuse. We do not say, I become one with God, and God has no discrimination. Right is wrong, wrong is right. No. We don't make this kind of nonsense excuse. Therefore, to practice with me, with this method, I emphasize virtue. One must take to heart to keep the commandments, the 5 principal commandments, like thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not tell lies, thou shalt not drink alcohol or take drugs, any kind that make our minds confused or our body weak, or any kind of so-called films, movies that excite our passions and are no good for our quiet and very calm nature. These all are called drugs, including films, gambling, alcohol. Yeah, this is all drugs. So these 5 commandments, I may ask you to keep if you want to join our circle of practitioners. You must not follow me in person. You must not do any service for me. You must not offer me anything except your commitment to yourself And meditation every day you must keep as far as possible. Yeah. And then the 5 commandments I also demand you to keep. And that's all you have to do.
Why is initiation limited mostly to people under 65?
Under what? 65. Oh, yeah. Why do the initiation people have to be under 65? The question is simple. When we are a little bit older than 60 or 65, our brain are no longer so alert. Yeah? Most of the time could not understand the master's teaching. And the vegan diet, a sudden change from flesh eating to the vegan diet at such an old age may cause inconvenience for you. You may not be able to follow. Is that clear? Yeah. Not that I discriminate between ages. If you are a long time vegan already, or if your body is fit and you're willing to take the rigorous practice every day 2.5 hours, yeah, morning and evening, and follow the vegan diet, of course I will also welcome you. But this is the general rule.
So when are you giving initiation? When?
When you give initiation? How many people want to get initiated? If there are enough, we can get it today. Please raise your hand higher so I can see. Okay, then I may give it today. Or in another day. Later we will discuss. The thing is, when we give it today, we are a little bit in a hurry. It's good. And so it might feel a little bit rushed for you. Or you may feel that you have not yet completely understood what my theory is, that's all. But if you're willing, and if you're really, truly sincere, we can make it together today, no problem. It takes a few hours, maybe up to 1 o'clock in the morning, if you can stand it. Is that all right? Yeah? Yeah. It's not just a few minutes, yeah.
Why are the leaders in Christianity falling? Why do they accentuate the negatives and the punishment?
Why
Emphasize the
the negative and punishment? Why are they falling? Yeah.
Why they fail?
Yeah, I have told you also, because of ignorance, lack of enlightenment. They have not practiced anything at all. What is the difference between a priest and you? Can you tell me? They also eat animals. People meat, drink wine, and maybe some have women. And you also do the same. And they read the scriptures, and you do every day. So what is the difference between them and you, or any other people? They do not realize that. That is their mistake. Therefore, of course, they can only think negative and punishment, because they do not reach to the love power of God by practicing quiet contemplation on His merciful quality. They only preach and talk, and they repeat the Bible only. Every time you come to the church or in a temple, I don't mean only Christianity, yeah? And then you take out a big book, and then they get out and say, St. Matthew, such and such, say so and so. And then you chant together and you go home. How do you find God so simple like that? And then they are called priest and father and mother. Oh, master. Oh. If it's so easy to become a priest and master, why don't you all become? I'm surprised and ask myself. I wonder myself. It's so easy to become a missionary, no? You still can marry even. The Protestant priests can also marry. So why haven't you become one, I wonder?
Is eating vegetables a form of killing because they have life like animals?
Yes, it is true. But the life in vegetables is very less. The soul is sleeping. All things are composed of many elements. Yeah, we human beings are composed of the most elements, including soul, ether, how to say, earth, metal, wood, yeah, all kinds of these substances together. But the plants consist of water. 90% is water, understand that? And the other substances are very less. And the soul is almost dormant. But then we still take life if we eat a vegetable. Therefore the Buddha said, if you eat anything, even vegetables, you have to consider it like eating your own child's flesh. But what shall we do if we live in this world and not eat anything? We can do that also, but it takes tremendous willpower to overcome the material needs of our body. Some people don't eat anything. There exist such persons, but I do not advise you to do so. First, people will look at you as a Zulu, as some kind of a nut, yeah? Or if people stream to you, it's only because they are attracted to your non-eating diet. They will overlook your spiritual quality and your highest goal that you want to set before them. Fancy I, Qinghai, don't eat anything. And then I advertise on the paper, Master Qinghai doesn't eat anything. So many people will flock here. And all day they will ask me, how? Why? Why? How long? You know, how long since? And that's it. And I will have a lot of trouble to tell them, please convert your attention to God and to my topic. It is the Guanyin method. It is life and death. It is serious. It has to be about meditation 2.5 hours. Vegan and all of this, and they won't listen a bit. Because all their attention is diverted to the non-eating diet. And that's it. I know all about it. I know in Taiwan there is one who didn't eat anything for 20 years. And everybody comes there asking the same question. Including myself.
Okay. When a text.
So therefore, excuse me. So even we eat vegan, we also have some karma. It means the influence of the bad effect. So we have to practice this method in order to cleanse out this even minimum karma, so that we can be free and purified.
When confronted with evil, physical or spiritual, such as someone will harm you or destroy you.
No, what is that? I'm sorry.
Okay, when someone will hurt you.
Hurt me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, will you fight back, self-defense, or you just die?
I just die?
Yeah.
You must be joking. I won't die just like that. I will run. I won't fight back, but I will run for my life. Yeah. Anybody stupid enough would lay there and die. I won't. Life is precious. I have a lot of things to do. Even if I don't need my body, my disciples do. If I die like that, it's very irresponsible. Of course, we have to do our utmost to protect our life, because life is precious. Without life, we couldn't accomplish anything. We couldn't even come back to God without this human life. We need every minute of our human existence to come nearer to God, to realize our greatest power and our blessing power in order to help other beings who need our help. We may not need this ourselves, but we must acquire it. It is like we don't need money so desperately, but we must have money in order to provide for our kids and our wives and other needy poor persons. Understand that?
Why we must keep vegetarian diet to cultivate ourselves?
Yes. Because we all know God is love and mercy, and Buddha is compassion. If we do not learn to become like them, then how shall we become one with God? How shall we live in heaven, which is a place of love and mercy? We want to learn something, we have to become that. Animal people desire life. They love life. They would run for their life. So we know they desire life. And they love to live like us. We have no right to take away their life by any means. Directly or indirectly, we should not. Now, do you want to get initiation today, or we leave it for another day? Until 1 o'clock in the morning. Tomorrow afternoon?
Tomorrow's Friday.
How is tomorrow Friday? You're not working? I'm just afraid it's inconvenience for you, not for myself. I have all the time in the world for you. I live in San Jose. I have no place in San Francisco. I don't know how to meet you. We can do that also, tomorrow afternoon also. Who is for tomorrow afternoon? Please raise your hand.
Tonight.
All right. Yeah, that's it. I'm considering you, not myself. Yeah. All right, then we do it tonight. And whoever cannot do it tonight, please contact us again, and we may arrange it for another day. Is that all right? In San Jose, you have to go to San Jose, and in a farmhouse. Yeah. Huh?
That sounds like fun.
But we have to arrange somebody to meet you and all that. I think we do it tonight, huh? It's the same anyhow. And you go back a little bit late later. Only once in a lifetime. I think you can afford it. Yeah, okay. Then whoever wants to get initiation, please go out and ask for the information outside. And when you come back, we are ready for it. Is that all right? Only once in a lifetime. I think it's not so much problem. But tomorrow you can come to see me also. Tomorrow. After initiation, you can come to see me in the farmhouse and have fun. Yeah. And that is the fun afterward. Anytime you can come. And when I'm still in America, yeah, until 31st, you can come to see me. Then ask any question, okay? Other people can stay and listen to the answer session. Only the one who like initiation would go out.
We also have the next time will be May 27th and May 28th.
Yeah, San Jose is also very
This
near.
Saturday and this Sunday. You are welcome and bring all your friends and relatives to understand more.
Oh, Sunday then we can... Sunday? Is the lecture on Sunday?
27th is Saturday. 28th.
Oh. Oh, Monday is free. So we can make initiation Monday. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, Memorial Day is a holiday.
Yeah. Now, any more questions?
Yes. You say God is all, but you never explained who the Sai-Ching is. Sai-Ching? Which means?
Sanchit, Satchit Anand, a psychic. God is all. God is not psychic. Psychic is a lower level of our consciousness. Psychic body and psychic power is not God power, is not the highest power, even though it's also very frightening, very powerful, but it's not the whole. Question?
Do you truly know that you have been blessed and sent by the true God to sincerely help and rescue the lost ones that are not of this earth and universe?
Yes, completely. I would not tell you otherwise. I fear to go to hell if I tell a lie. I fear God's punishment. I fear His judgment. I fear the Buddha's judgment.
What are demons? The devils, demons?
Demons, yes.
Okay, demons.
They are a little bit lower way of thinking, a lower way of existence, a little bit less loving. That is what's called demons. Less light, less love, These are demons. Anything else?
How,
Quickly, we have
how
no
does
time.
one meditate? What should be in his or her mind? How does one meditate? Meditate. How do meditation?
I think you take them here. Let me. How does one meditate? What should be in his or her mind? There is nothing that should be in the mind of the meditator. But actually, it's not like that. At the initiation, I may have the time to tell you everything. It's not to answer casually like that, because you won't get it. Second is, why is there an age limit on initiation? I already answered. Yeah, because of the vegan diet, or maybe the enduring power of the body and the mind, and the understanding power is diminished a little bit after some age. But I have told you already, if you are fit enough and willing to endure the disciplines, no problem. All the questioners still here? Yeah? Still want to listen? We have to pass the time anyhow, huh? How do you explain the fact that in the 1940s, scientists proved that there is no ether, or yogis refer to it? What is it and how does it function? It is maybe that the scientists call it by different names. Ether, it is what the Chinese call, I think, qi. You know, it functions invisibly, and you can't just use science to prove it. I disagree with that. The scientists have invented many things, have discovered many things, but there are many things they do not know, and they could not know, and they could not discover. The simple reason is that everyone knows they use only a limited fraction of their mind, or a little part of it. We use only 1/5 or 1/10 of our mind, and we think we know everything. Oh, impossible. Oh, this is very long. I leave it out. When one sees white light during meditation, what does it mean? It's not bad. Seeing light means that there's no darkness. What do you think psychiatrists do to help people with their problems? There are some psychiatrists, but the problems of the mentally disturbed people are deeper than just what the surface looks like. And so the psychiatrists, having not so very deep insight, sometimes by solving the problem, make it worse. Now it's not their fault, but it is the fault of the whole society system. We should make everybody become enlightened, and then everything they do will be in perfect order, because they do it with wisdom, with the inner knowing, not with the limited brain guessing and false data. It's not really from their own knowing, but it's well fed by other thinking, by other psychiatrists, by other doctors, and by other things. At a later date, they prove it is wrong, and it is too late to correct it. Most of the time, it's like that. So don't ask me what they should do. I think they should all practice the Guanyin method. Get enlightened, and then go back to their job, doing a better job, being a better scientist, and helping many more patients in a better way. If you see that your father only believes in the physical things such as science and traditional Western medicine, what are you to do? Must you do nothing when you see that he thinks that all yogis are ignorant? He thinks that if a yogi is great, he must prove it by doing a miracle, such as flying or disappearing. What do I do about this? You know what you do about this? Keep silent and practice. There's nothing we can do about it. But we can, by our own practicing power and vibration, influence our family members. They will become automatically receptive to the higher power in time. By and by they will. We can, by our own practicing power and vibration, influence our family members. They will become automatically receptive to the higher power in time. By and by they will. In Taiwan, there are many people who, after they became initiated, their family members objected so fiercely. But after they patiently and lovingly practiced for a period of time, their family felt the change and the benefit. They also became all initiated. Before, they objected not only to their daughter or son, but objected to their master. And they even came and threatened me with all kinds of things and obstruct my mission in all kinds of ways. But later, the whole family came and got initiated. I don't need to fly or disappear in order to convert them. I use the love power, which is invisible, which is natural. I don't even use it. It is there. It flows 24 hours. And then they get it somehow, and then they appreciate it. And they become devotees by nature, in time. So that's what we have to do. We have to prove to ourselves that we are worthy. No need to debate so much. The more we talk, the more we look. Just wait until the moment comes. Just say 1 or 2 words. It may be enough. But we must become a light bearer. We must become an example of love, patience, and wisdom. Then others will smell it. Now we come naturally. Like a flower, it doesn't speak. It attracts bees by its own fragrance and honey. Now, thinking of flying and disappearing, you may even see me doing it. As a matter of fact, you may see it oftentimes. But I will not do it just to convert your father. After he is converted, by his own wisdom and free will, he might see it. Not doing that to convert him is contradictory to my policy and to God's order. Understand that? A master may not do any miraculous power to prove how great he is. The more he proves, the smaller he is. The sun doesn't need to prove anything. He just shines. Those who have eyes will see. If the blind one, you don't need to argue, no? He is blind and you don't need to argue with him. But he will feel also the sunshine on his face and benefit from it. Flying, I don't use this physical body. The master can be anywhere, anytime. Flying in the sky, flying on the lotus, flying to heaven, flying to hell, flying around the world, anytime, anywhere. He, she can do this. This is a childish trick and the most elementary instrument that the master may use in order to be anywhere to rescue and help his innate disciples or those who have affinities with him or her. There's nothing to demonstrate and to talk about. This is our small action. And disappearing, you may even see it now, but because your eyes are so obstructed, you only see my physical body. You see nothing else. If you really have a wisdom eye, you might not even see me talking. You only see light here. The whole room is light, nothing else. No person. Even all of the audience will disappear in this light. So this is real disappearing. And if you see some of my photos, you don't see me, you only see light there. People photograph, they don't see the master, only see a big light. The person disappears. And most of my photos are like that. It is a disappearing, no need to prove anymore. The cameras can prove it. And sometimes on the stage there is no master. That is disappearing. Because in reality there is no master. No one. No sentient beings. No existence. Only light, vibration, and love. And a sense of togetherness. Now, is that alright? Everybody loves to see flying and doesn't practice. If you practice with me after a while, I promise you can see me flying and disappearing. No difficulty. If you don't practice, I won't do it. Not for you to look at. We are not in a circus. Please, may I receive your every blessing and avoid all forms that would cause me to be less than me or what I am. The way to get blessing is to bless yourself with your own inner power. And I know how to do it, and I can tell you how to do it. No one can bless you except yourself. He can only help. He can lend you some of his radiation, some of his love and power to lift you up to a higher consciousness, but not completely. If you are not willing to bless yourself with your own blessing power, yeah? Otherwise, Jesus would have blessed the whole world. We would not have to crawl around here until now. Otherwise, Buddha would have blessed the whole of at least India, the whole India, and taken them to Nirvana. As you see for yourself, Buddha has become Buddha, and the Indian people have still been ignorant. Most of them. So no one can bless anyone. No doubt when a master comes to earth, she or he will bring with them a great blessing from God. And the place where she lives, or where he lives, or wherever he goes, is marked by his blessing power and becomes different in outlook and in consciousness. But that is only a small part. Each person has to bless himself. That's it. I'm sorry. What is that? Sumo or sumo wrestler? Is sumo a Buddha? May I know how to become a sumo master? What is self-esteem? Or shall a person live without religions? What is a sumo? What is that? I don't know what is sumo. What is that for? Wrestling. Is sumo a Buddha? Yeah. Oh, yeah. He has Buddha nature in him, but he's far from being a Buddha, I'm sorry. Takes a long time. Self-esteem, I think it's self-respect. Knowing where your goodness is. And you can respect yourself. But this is difficult. To really have self-respect, one must practice. Knowing the great power within. Shall a person live without religions? Yes and no. Yes, because most religions do not teach people how to get enlightened. Therefore, just repeat the boring doctrines without understanding the meaning, without bringing them into practice. Therefore, the Christian people preach to people, you have to love thy neighbor, and then they go and fight with the Protestants. For example, not all Christians are like that. I mean only that they cannot bring it into practice because they lack perseverance power within, lack the real God power. They cannot do it even though they wish to. So, if you can live with religion, then live with it. If you want to live without, then live without. By all means, be a good person. Be a virtuous person, and that is a religious person. Whatever religious group you join, or whatever, or if you're without religion, if you're a good person, you don't steal, you don't lie, you don't harm others, and you try to be a good citizen. And that is a religious person. Yeah? This is in Chinese. You are truly an enlightened person and have more to offer than words. Learned from the masters.
Yes, the word games learned from.
The word gamed. Learned from the masters. Thank you. Why did this separation take place from God? Oh, yes. I told you because we are too busy. If someone's talking to you on the telephone keeps ringing, and you are cooking and you're busy chatting with other people, then that person cannot get in touch with you. Is that right? Same thing. God is telephoning every day, every minute, and you have no time for him. You keep him hanging on the line. That's how the separation takes place. Now, if you want to be united with him again, then take time. Give him 1/10 of your daily time to communicate with him. Surely you will get no more separation. When one sees white light during meditation, it's already. What do you think? Why were we all separated from the word or the name of Buddha, on God and nature in the beginning? I tell you, we have never been separated. We are in there. We have it inside, outside, inside out, upside down. We all have this God and Buddha nature. Just that we are too busy. We blind ourselves with worldly obligations and jobs, and so we do not know where God is. For example, sometimes you have glasses on your hand, your eyes glasses, and then you go around looking for it. Is that not so? Yeah, similar like that. If we are too busy, we forget many things. Or sometimes we are too busy, even if our loved ones come, we don't see it. Is that not so? Or we have the television on, and then we're too busy thinking of something else. We don't even see the acting. Or we talking to the next person, and we don't know what the television is about. That's the truth. So when we have God inside and we have no time for him, then no doubt we don't see him. That's it. Now I can unite you again with this word or with this God. So no need to ask why, but how to be united again. Now, if we cannot follow all your rules and decide that we will not take initiation now, is there some form of meditation you can share with us to help us? Sometimes my mind wanders or my mind dwells on past events, replaying past events. Is there any method you can share with those who will not take initiation now? Also, when you become vegan and clean your system, won't this make you more sensitive to the air pollution and other non-poor substances and people who are not clean? When you live in the countryside, it is not so stressful. But city life is very stressful. How to purify and not become so overwhelmed, vulnerable? It is like this. Yes, there are some other kind of meditation. Is the person here? You can try to be as much vegan as possible. Yeah, that would help you. Even to be in a polluted area, to be vegan is more immutable. You must know that. The vegan people are less sick than the meat-eating people. So instead, it gives you the protection. Yeah, and your mind will be calmer, and you will think less. That's the good of the vegan diet. Not only the mercy quality. Why? Because we forgive, we don't take an other's life, then our lives are also not at stake. Understand that? It's a law of karma, cause and effect. So if we forgive others, others will forgive us. So we'll be more peaceful at heart. We have no guilty conscience, no guilty feeling. So that's what makes our mind peaceful. That's very logical thinking about being vegan. And now, if you cannot get initiation, what kind of rules you think are difficult for you to keep? May I explain to you? And then you can decide what kind of rules you cannot keep.
I'm taking martial arts right now.
She's taking what? What has that got to do with the rules? Of fighting? Oh, this is only for fun. You won't kill people, no? You're taking for fighting? Will that kill people? Make them hurt? Oh, really? But you are so nice, how can you beat people? I think you're taking the wrong hobby. Why don't you take on drawing or dancing or singing? Yeah, it's more suitable to your sweet face, your sweet expression. I think that's no problem. It's a matter of changing hobbies. Instead of going beating people, you sit there beating God. Tell him, come out quickly and let me see you. There's also a kind of struggle. I think to do martial arts with ourselves is more difficult than to do martial arts with other people. Don't you agree? So I will teach you a new type of martial arts. Please go get initiation. And then fight with yourself. You will find it very interesting. Yeah. What is that?
Oh, before you asked about whenever someone was going to harm your body, you said you would run.
Yes.
Sometimes you see the fight or die.
You object my running?
It's not always possible.
It's not always possible. Okay, then I will die. I will not harm.
You die of compassion or out of cowardice.
Compassion, of course.
But how do you know?
I do know myself.
But how do you follow?
Oh, they know or not know, that's their problem. If they have not so much faith in me, then they are not real disciples. And if they do have faith in me, they will continue to practice, and that will do them no harm.
I have another question too about a question you answered.
Yeah, quickly, because I have not so much time.
Someone asked about sumo wrestler.
Sumo? Yes, yes.
Okay, they're athletes, great athletes.
Yes.
The word athlete is a Greek word.
Yeah.
It means one who endures pain to see God.
What?
The word athlete means one who endures pain to see God. Great athletes are very spiritually evolved.
Yes.
So you discounted that from that without taking into consideration.
Yes, athlete originally means the one who's longing to see God or nearly seeks God. But you must ask yourself, the ancient Greek athletes and these modern athletes are not the same.
I see no difference. The experience of pain brings you close to God. The experience of pain, the standard for athletics is raised every year.
Maybe so.
Pain is harder.
Yes, yes. Yes, maybe so. But suffering doesn't bring you that much to God if you have no motive in mind.
You don't think these athletes have these spiritual motives.
All right, then you come another day and please instruct me more about this. Maybe I'm a little bit ignorant about this. Then I am willing to learn from you. It's just at the moment I may have to give some instructions. What is that? I think no more questions.
I'm very much interested
In initiation.
the most important is God in you all the time, right?
God in you all the time, yeah.
In your world, what's the best for you to describe the God, where He is and how it looks like, or whatever, in your world, what's the best description for everybody?
God. How I describe Him?
Not Him only, right?
Yes, yes.
God could be Him, He or great power, right?
You asked me a very difficult question. I know Him only. I cannot describe.
The God has no sex.
Yes.
Him or not.
Yeah, all right. I know it. I just cannot describe it. I can only tell you how to know it yourself. If you want to know it yourself, then I show you how. But if you ask me what God is and what is His shape, I cannot tell you. I can only say that God gives you everything you need once you contacted Him. Okay?
That's so. May I describe? God is infinitely spiritual power.
Yes, that's right.
He can be like a supreme homeless power.
Yes, yes.
So the energy into the physical condition
Yes.
can go back to, right?
Yes, that's right.
Full universal perfection is the truth.
Yes, that's right. But the question is, do you know that?
Yes.
You are in touch with that every day? And you feel good about it?
Over them.
That is good. Okay.
Very powerful.
Then I congratulate you.
Always vortex in your body.
Okay, then maybe we are talking about the same thing. And now I may ask your permission to let me alone with the initiates. And I have 2 more days in San Jose. Please come and enlighten me more about many things that I do not know. Okay? I really do mean that. I do mean to welcome you and learn from you. Both of you, please come back, yeah? It's now that I'm obliged to part from you. In San Jose, please come. But the yesterday initiated people can stay if you want, or if you have to go. Okay.
Please bring your friends and relatives on May 27th, 28th.
Come up here, the initiate people. And the new or old initiates can come to see me in the farmhouse. Please contact us in advance. Bye-bye. What do you practice? Yeah, what do you practice? Any kind of yoga? Sound? Maybe we're on the same path. Please come to see us in the farmhouse. We may discuss something. Okay? How? Today I have no time. Telephone, yeah? Please phone and contact us. You can stay.
My mother.
Yeah.
Got privileged and she doesn't have the initiation.
Oh, never mind. She eat meat?
Can't stop.
How old is she?
55.
Oh, yeah? Then slowly.
But I want to go to the farmhouse.
Yeah, come. Please telephone and ask them how to go. Or you can go outside and make arrangements. Yeah. Yeah, what is that?
Okay, let me read.
讲国语啊，念出来，念英文也可以。
Buddha wants to liberate all the living beings and wish all the living beings become Buddha also.
Yeah.
However, Jesus Christ said that only those one who believe me can be saved. Those who does not believe me
Understand.
go hell.
Yeah.
You use the Bible and God's teaching to explain the Buddha Sutras. Does that mean Buddha is better or greater than God?
No. They both speak of the same thing. The Buddha says, 要讲听英文或是中文的？
中文呢？中文呢？
OK， 你翻译啊，你翻译，我讲英文给英文的人听，好吧？这样子啦。It's like this. Is it like this? The Buddha says he wants to liberate all sentient beings, but he could not, could he? Not everybody is liberated. Everyone who meets the Buddha can be liberated, but only when the Buddha is alive. 在世佛啦，佛走了以后就不能了，所以应该找在世佛。We have to find the living Buddha in order to get liberated. Jesus said the same thing. Whoever believed in him would go to heaven. That was true when he was alive. And after he was gone, we have to find another Jesus. So they both spoke of the same thing. Therefore, both say they want to liberate all beings, or believe in me and you can go to heaven. But many beings are still not in heaven because after they left, other people came, and not many people always believe in Buddha or Jesus. Every time a Buddha comes, only a handful of people believe him. Therefore, only this handful of people can go to heaven. The others are going, it depends on their karma. 看到佛跟佛水会成佛啊，没有跟佛水就会随缘走了，随那个业障走了啊。看到耶稣在世的时候跟他水那个法脉，当然会去天堂。没有跟他水，别人也是随伽马，随那个业障走。他们两个都讲一样的啦。如果还不懂，改天再来跟师父问好不好？今天比较忙，你们要不要印心？不要的话出去，是不是？现在师父要印心。Now those who don't want to get initiation, please leave immediately. We have so little time. Thank you, and please come back another day if any question arises. Now, initiate people, please come to the front so that you can see me better. Yeah, sit in the front, that's it, together. 现在你们去看看，每一个人都有他的手上的那个initiation form, and one by one.
昨天印心的可以进来。
可以进来，可以。Those who were initiated yesterday, if you want to stay, please let them. Now, as I call the names, please sit in order so that I may see better.